All right, welcome to the Entrepreneur Insider Secrets podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about the one thing that most coaches overlook in their business growth plan. Now, this is something that is extraordinarily common, extremely common, and all something I see all the time with, especially people who are just getting started building their coaching business. I meet people all the time who have great passion for what they do, and they have developed a tremendous amount of skill at it. Whatever this thing is that they want to do, they want to build a business around, they want to share with other people, they're good at it. They have gifts, they have skills, they have abilities, and they have the ability to really make a difference in other people's lives. There's zero question about that. They're good. They know their stuff. They know how to do this. They know how to help people grow. They know how to help people change. They know how to help people generate results in their life, and whatever it may be. Maybe there's something they need healing with. Maybe there's something that they are looking to achieve or looking to do with their lives. And, these people, these coaches, they know how to do it, and they can get results, and they're passionate about it, and they're excited about it. And it's something that's really, really important to them. And yet these coaches that I work with, that I coach, that I've seen for years and years and years, they all like to do similar things. They are very passionate about their work. So they tend to create all sorts of different products and programs around the things that they do, that they can do, that they can offer, that they can put out there. They can be a speaker. They can coach people one-on-one. They can coach people in groups. They can have a membership where you're a part of. They can create courses. They can create books. They can create all these different things, all these different products. And they can spend all this time putting together an amazing suite of offerings, an amazing group of things that they can do. And they can spend time refining their skills, refining their ability to help people, looking at like, oh, you know what, if I did it this way, I could have even more impact on people's lives. And they're really, really good at that. They're refining their website. They're putting all these things up there. They're making everything just right. They're making everything look just perfect. And they have an impressive little offering of what they have. Like I said, their skill set, it's impressive. They're good at it. There's nobody going to debate this. And when they get offered the opportunity to be interviewed or to speak, it shows. They know their stuff. They know what they're doing. They know what they're talking about. They know how to communicate what they're doing very, very well. But there's one thing that's really holding them back. There's one thing that's keeping them from the type of success that they really want. And that thing is consistently generating leads. This is the thing, because here's the problem. This is the problem with that. You can be the most amazing coach. You can be the most amazing course creator. You can create books. You can create products. You can create all these services, and they can be fantastic. That you can create things that are just like, wow, the video quality, the structure, the flow, the organization, how you put this together, the insights that you share, the things that the knowledge that you've acquired is amazing. It is so, so impressive, but no one's experiencing it. No one's going through it and receiving the benefit of all this because they're not aware of it. They're not aware of what you can do for them. So all these products, these amazing services are being created, and not many people are consuming them, or very few people are actually going through that process of transformation. And that's where not only does that sadly leave the people who need the help on the outside, because they're not getting the help. They're not getting the impact. They're not getting the support. They're not getting the results that they so desperately need in their life. And the coach, the course creator, they're not getting the sales. So their business is always stymied. They're always left struggling to try and make ends meet, struggling to get the business off the ground, struggling to reach their goals and objectives because they don't have enough buyers. So we're going to be talking about that today, because one of the primary things we as coaches and course creators and so on and so forth need to be doing on a regular basis, if we're actually going to do this thing that we're wanting to do, the things that we need to be able to do are, we need to be able to continue to grow. We need to be able to continue to generate leads. So you see, if we can get people to continuously hear us, to continuously check us out, continue to learn about us, to continually inquire about our services, guess what? We're going to get some clients along the way. We're going to continue to have business all the time. We're going to continue to make sales. We're going to continue to have income, which is then going to fund future business growth. It's going to make growing the business a lot easier. You're not going to have to take up a side job to fund the things you want to do in your business. No, you're not going to have to, tighten the belt on the budget and become much more economical so that you can keep working on the business. No, the business is going to pay for itself. And it's going to start supporting your life. It's going to start taking care of you. So these are things, and we don't need lead generation to be complicated. We don't need it to be multifaceted, especially when we're first getting started out. We just need to have a method that works. We need to have something that you can do, some source of leads that you can consistently go to that will generate clients for you, that will generate leads or prospects for you. So this is an incredibly important part of this, because again, I see far too many coaches out there who are incredibly gifted and skilled and talented. And when I see them working with their clients, they are making such a huge difference, but they're struggling. They're not getting, their business is not thriving at the level that it should be, because they don't have a consistent flow of people inquiring. So you got to think about it this way. When you are building up your business, there are really 3 stages to getting a customer. One is there's an awareness stage. The awareness stage is people become aware of who you are, what you do, what it is that you're about, the work that you're involved in, how you can help them, the value that you create. They have to first know you're there. They have to first know you exist. They have to know that this is who you are and this is what you do. Then from there has to be a connection built. There has to be some trust built through that process. They have to go and, I just heard about this person. They look kind of interesting. I want to learn more about them. What do they do? What are they about? What types of things are they involved in? Are they someone that I can trust? Is this somebody that's been doing this a long time? Is this somebody that I don't know? They seem a little shady. I'm not sure that if what they're saying I can really have confidence in. They want to know these answers to these questions. And then at the end, if you pass through the first couple of steps well and successfully, now they're willing to talk. Well, maybe I should hire them. Maybe I should hire them as my coach. Maybe I should hire them to help me. Maybe I should hire them to do work for me. All of a sudden now I'm staring at a client. I'm staring at someone. But people need to be able to go through that journey first. They need to be able to learn and go through the process first. And when they do that, they will then know how to they feel confident with becoming your customer. But it all starts with, first and foremost, having a steady stream of leads that come in. You think about it this way. Let's say that you're at a stage of life, and these are the things that happen to a lot of us, right? It's like we get married, we have a family, we raise our children, and all of our lives become about running around, spending time taking care of our kids, doing, running our kids from this activity to that activity. And we spend all this time focused on our kids' stuff and our kids' lives. Then one day the kids are getting older and they are, don't need us they get their own driver's license. They don't need us running them around anymore. They don't need us in the same way that they used to.
And suddenly we're sitting there going, wow, my whole social life was around all your activities. So like I'm sitting here going, I now need to rebuild my own social life. I need to rebuild my own friend group because so many of my friends were basically parents of other children. And I may or may not have even liked those people, but I hung out with them. I spent time with them because that's where all of our kids were. And now you realize that, well, shoot, how am I going to, I don't have the social life that I used to because my whole social life was wrapped around my kids' schedule. And now that it's not needing to be wrapped around all of my little kid activities, I can have time to go and do things that I enjoy again. And I said that sounds bad. I did enjoy my kids' activities, but things that I really truly are the activity themselves are of interest to me, not just simply because my kid was involved in them. You know what I mean? All of you parents out there, you know exactly what I mean. You care about something because your kid's in it, not because of the thing necessarily of itself. So, dug myself a little hole there. With that being said, what you realize is that you have to now start going out to things, and you have to start going to different groups. You have to start going to this. You start attending events, doing different things to try and get to the point where, you're getting involved in things, you're getting active in things again. And while you're there, you start being introduced to people, you start meeting people, you start having interactions with people. And after a while, sometimes you're like, I've seen that person 3 times now. And now you're starting to have a conversation with them. You're starting to talk with them. You're starting to get to know them a little bit. And you start developing a connection with them. And then you start maybe getting together with that person and doing stuff outside of this event with them. And then from there, all of a sudden you realize, hey, I have a new friend. I have somebody that, I now spend time with. And it could even be things like simply going to the gym. You go to the gym or you go to church and you're seeing the same people at the gym or at church all the time. And all of a sudden you're going, hey, what, and you start talking to them and you realize, oh, well, you're interested in, you like this and I like this. We both have the same interests. And you realize, hey, I kind of like this person. And you start doing things together. And like for me, we went to a church and we started meeting people. We started introducing ourselves and getting to know new people. And I started realizing that, hey, I really like football. Some of these other guys also really like football. They're like, hey, we're getting together on Sunday afternoon at a local sports bar. We're going to watch some of the games. Do you want to come? Great. Now I went from just introducing myself to actually getting to know them, to actually spending time with them, to actually creating connection with them, to then out of that, some of them have actually become good friends. And so we think, oh yeah, that makes sense. That's normal life. That's normally how we create friendships in our lives, right? That journey is very similar for you and your business. If you want customers, that journey is very, very similar. You have to create awareness. You have to put yourself in a place where people who would potentially be interested in what you do can find you. You have to put yourself out there. You have to put yourself in a place where people can get to know and learn, oh, I haven't seen this person before. I'd like to, what they're talking about, what they say they do, that sounds kind of interesting. I'd like to learn more. So maybe they come and listen to you do a live training. Maybe they read some of your content. Maybe they watch your video. They listen to your podcast. Whatever that may be, they go out and they learn it and they become aware of who you are. And then they're like, wow, I listened to them get interviewed by somebody and they were fascinating. They were really, really interesting. Well, I want to find out more about them. So they go to your website and they start reading your blog, or they find some other videos maybe that you have on YouTube or on social media platforms, and they start watching those. They start reading some of your posts. They go to your website. They learn more about who you are. They're creating connection. They're creating awareness, and they're learning, is this a person I trust? Is this a person who looks like they can help me? And if they do, then they're like, well, how can I engage with them further? They look like they could really benefit me. Do they have a course I can take? Do they have a book I can buy? Do they have a resource that I can get? Or do they have a contact form that I can reach out to them? all of these things become possibilities. All of these things become available. And so you put all these things out there, you do all these things, and people then take the next step, and then they start inquiring about becoming customers. But none of that happens unless you first start generating the interest on the front end. If you want customers coming into your business, if you want them signing up, buying your products, becoming your coaching clients, working with you, paying you money that supports the growth of your business, you have to first start by generating that as leads. Just like I wasn't going to find friendships unless I first put myself in a position where I was around other people who had similar interests to me. You have to put yourself out there in a position where people can start to engage with you who have interests in what it is that you do. So the first thing is that you need to create some type of lead generation system. You need to find something that you can do that will consistently generate leads for your business, and start the touch point, whatever that may be. Building that awareness, putting yourself in the room. Again, had I never gone to the gym, I would have never made friends at the gym. Had I never gone to church, I would have never made the friends that I have from church. All of those things happen because I put myself in the room. I put myself there. So in your business, you have to put yourself in the room. You have to put yourself in the position where you can introduce yourself to people who would potentially be interested in what you do. So you have to then put yourself there. You have to get yourself in a position where, this is where people can find me, and be consistent with it. Like I said, if I went to church 1 this week, I went to church 2 on the next week, church 3 on the next week, church 4 on the next week, I'm not developing connection, right? I'm just hop, jump, skip all the time. And that doesn't do it. You have to be consistent and stay in the same place. That's how you start to develop a reputation. That's how you start to develop connection. That's how you start running into people multiple times. That's how you start doing things and having engagement with people. And so this consistency, you have to find a place where, when I post here, when I share here, when I do things here, I get some response. I get feedback from people. I get some connection started. This is a good place for me to go. When you find that pond, so to speak, where your fish are in, stay there. You don't need to turn this into 16 different, I need to be on all these different platforms. I need to do all. No, start with the one where you're like, hey, when I post here, I get reaction, I get comments, I get feedback, I get connection going. People are actually paying attention when I go over here. And that could be any number of things. It could be that you're doing a live training. We coach people all the time. Do a weekly live training on a platform, and people will then start to get to know you. And they're like, I wonder what, this is about. And they start learning. And then you make an offer for them to join your email list. You make an offer for them to take a next step to maybe purchase an ebook or a small download, or you make an opportunity for them to take the next step. But you're putting yourself in the room. You're putting yourself there. And then once you put the offer out there for them to join your email list, to take the first step, it's just like you going into a room of people and saying, oh, hi, I've seen you here before. My name is David. Nice to meet you. That's kind of like getting someone to join your email list. You're creating the initial connection. You're saying hi. And joining your email list is free. And if they don't like it, they can leave. That's not just like me going up and shaking someone's hand and saying, hi, I'm David. You know what? They could, we could chat for a couple minutes, and this could become a future friend. Or this could be someone that I go, okay, I guess it's not a good fit, and we don't ever bother each other again. At the end of the day, nothing's really hurt. Nothing's really a problem. You just move on. And so this is the same thing. You have to be in a place where like, oh, hey, I can consistently generate some leads here. I can consistently get people to engage with me. And when I do that, now I got some fish in the pond. I got some fish that I can I can work with here. I have some initial leads. And then once you do that, you have to nurture that relationship. Let's say you get some people to join up and they register for your live training. And you do a live training and they put their name and email in. Now they're on your email list. The question is, from there, what are you going to do to nurture that relationship? Think about it this way. Let's say you go to the gym or church and you meet somebody, you introduce yourself, and then you never speak to them again or have any interaction with them again for 6 months. What do you think maybe that initial conversation was really good. Maybe you met that person and it was like, wow, this is amazing. This could be, we had a lot in common. We got along really well. We chatted for 5-10 minutes. This was fantastic. And yet and then I dropped the ball and I never said another word to this person for 6 months. What do you think could have happened to that relationship? Well, it would have gone down, right? Because there was zero contact, there was zero interaction, there was zero engagement for an extended period of time. This is the same thing that happens when someone joins your email list. If they join your email list and they don't hear from you for 6 months or maybe longer, and you don't email them, you don't send them anything, you're not communicating with them, they're like, I was on this email list. And then when you finally send something, they're like, wait, what? Who is this person again? And they have forgotten you because there's been no connection. There's been no context. There's been no reminders of the relationship. So you can't build something when you've let it sit idle and be essentially not existent for an extended period of time. So what do you have to do is, even if that person, when you initially engage with them, when they initially take that first step, they join your email list, they start watching your videos, you want to do things, you want to keep that relationship going. You want to keep that relationship moving forward, because otherwise they're going to forget. And then life happens. Other things are going on and they forget, like, who was he again? What was he doing? What was he about? So you have to nurture it. You have to send out regular emails. You have to send out regular communication. You got to send out things so that people remember who you are. So people get the ability to learn more about you. They get the ability to start to develop that relationship. Again, if you meet the person for the first time and then the next week you meet them again and the next week you meet them again, even if you're not talking, you're just waving hi to them, the connection is maintained. And if they're consistently getting emails from you, they're consistently having the relationship nurtured, even if they don't read every email, even if they don't have time to check out everything you're doing, the relationship is being continued. And then at some point they're like, oh, I want to check what this is again. I want to look at all this again. This is good. This is something that I want to stay with because I want to keep following them. They're interesting. I think they can help me. This is something that is useful to me. This is helpful to me. And so here we are. And now that relationship is maintained. And I've had this so many times where my first engagement with somebody was watching a video of theirs, reading a book of theirs, reading some of their written material, doing things that you just go, huh, that was interesting. I wonder what else they have. And then over time, you're finally like, I have to join one of their programs because it's clear to me that this individual is the one that can help me. They're the one that knows what they're talking about. They're the ones that I now trust because I've consumed a lot of their free content or their inexpensive content. I trust them. They know what they're doing. And if anybody's going to help me get there, if anybody's going to help me do the thing that I'm trying to do, they're the ones. I need to be part of what they're doing because this is important to me. This is necessary. This is a step in my journey that I really need. And so now they're ready to talk about becoming clients. But it all starts with the generating of the leads and the nurturing of the relationship. And too many times, we aren't continuing to build into that relationship. We're not continuing to stay in there. We don't want to bother people. We don't want to become a nuisance to people. We just want to, we hope that, they'll want to become a client on the very first engagement. The reality is most people don't. Most people aren't ready to jump that fast. There are some that will. There are some that definitely that will say, yeah, I'll do it. I'll jump right now. And they're willing to make a decision really, really fast. Other people, not so much. Other people are not as ready to make a decision that fast. They need a little more time to simmer, to cook. They need a little more time to think about the decision, to think about whether or not this is something they want to do. And so they need to be nurtured. That relationship needs to be continued to be built. And so when you do that, then over time, as they've had to continuous, think about it this way, like, hey, when I met these people at church and we hung out in a group setting a few times, then when one of these guys said, hey, we're getting together to watch football, you want to come? I was more than willing to say yes. Why? Because of all the continued nurturing of the relationship. I had seen these guys several times now. I had engaged with them. I had contact with them. Now I'm ready to hang out. Now I'm ready to, become a real friend, because I've had enough interactions, enough engagements, enough touches that I feel comfortable now. This is exactly what your clients are going through. They become aware of you. That relationship needs to be nurtured through your ongoing communication, through your ongoing emails, through your ongoing touching with touch points with them, and they're going to continue to learn from you. They're going to continue to build that relationship, to learn about you, and then there's going to come a point in time where the decision to become a customer is kind of easy for them. And we sit there all the time, and I see client and coaches all the time. They get very nervous. They get very uncertain about themselves when it comes time to invite somebody to come be their customer, to be their client, to come work with them. They get very uneasy about it. They don't want to kind of do it. They'll either make confusing offers that are unclear as to exactly why should I do this, why exactly should I do it, or they'll just make offers that just aren't inspiring. They're just not exciting. And as a result, people don't do it. And the reason that they're not doing it is because, well, we've been in this relationship the whole time, and now I'm actually asking them to become a client and give me money. So this is the next logical step in the relationship. Do you want to become my friend or not? When I get offered to be someone's friend and I know that I like that person, I'm like, great, let's go. Let's go watch the game together. I would love to do that. This is not a bad thing. When you've developed a good, strong relationship with this person, when you built into them, you develop that relationship, they're not going to feel bad that they know you're in business. They're not sitting there going, wait, what? They do this for a living? No, they're well aware that this is your service. So when you invite them to work with you and join you in what it is that you do, they're not shocked. They're not stunned. Make it be the next logical step. Make it be an exciting step. Make it be something that they're going to want to do. When you do that, now we got something cooking. Now we got something going, because it's something they're going to look at and go, that relationship is already strong. It's like, great, let's go. Let's do it. This is perfect. This is exactly what I want. You're going to help me. You're going to transform my life. You're going to make my life even better. This isn't bad. This is good. And so make your offer reflect that. Make your offer be strong. Make your offer be impactful so that they want it and they see it. And when you do that, your business is going to go from constant busyness, constant content creation, constant building of more products and services and offerings, to a thriving business with lots of customers, lots of cash flow, and the ability that, like, hey, I need to keep getting this stuff done, but now I have the ability to even bring someone on and pay them to help me do this stuff. I can afford to do that now because I actually have the income. And I'm actually making enough money to take care of things. I'm making enough money to be successful at this thing. But it all starts with starting that relationship with your future customer. It starts with generating the leads. generating that initial response. And when you have a consistent stream of leads coming to you, when you have that on a consistent basis, your business is going to thrive, because a percentage of those people are going to say yes. They're going to start joining you. They're going to start becoming your customers. And now you're never going to be going hungry another day in your life, because you have consistent leads coming in and you have consistent customers coming in. That's the work that needs to be your focus. Not trying to diminish or undervalue the creation of products and doing and great services and putting great touches onto your business, but the generating of leads and leading those people to become, and nurturing the relationships so they become clients. That's where your business is going to live or die. And it all starts on generating of leads. So think about that. What can you do to generate leads for your business so that you will never run dry of customers? Because that's the stream. Customers start out as prospects. Prospects start out as unaware people who became aware of you, who then became prospects, who then became customers. So if you want to have the customers, you need to start off by generating the leads. So if that's something you need help with, that's something that you would like somebody to walk with you on, check out designlaunchgrow.com and fill out an application. We would love to talk with you. We would love to share with you how we can help you make this an exciting part of your business and make this an exciting part of your life. Otherwise, that's it for today. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will talk to you again very soon.